The war nobody sees. Everybody talks about confidence like it's easy to wear, like it's a jacket you can just throw on and walk out the door with. But real confidence isn't loud. It's not found in followers, designer fits, or how many people clap when you walk in the room. It's built in silence, brick by brick, every time you choose discipline over doubt and peace over attention. See, most people who look strong are really just tired. Tired of pretending, tired of smiling through self-doubt, tired of performing strength while quietly questioning their worth. Low self-esteem doesn't always show up as sadness. Sometimes it looks like overconfidence, control, or chaos. It hides behind success, jokes, and distractions. It shows up in people-pleasing, overthinking, and needing to be liked. It drains your energy, shapes your choices, and turns potential into survival. This isn't about judging people. It's about recognizing the habits that quietly eat at your self-respect. Because once you see them, you can't unsee them. Once you understand the pattern, you can finally break it. And that's what today's video is about, the hidden signs of low self-esteem. If this already hits home, like, comment, and subscribe, because this next part might change how you see people and yourself. The mask of confidence. The first hidden sign is overcompensation. They'll brag about achievements that don't even matter, not to impress you, but to convince themselves they're valuable. They'll mention money, status, followers, or people they know. And if you ever challenge their image, even gently, they'll take it as disrespect. True confidence doesn't defend itself, it just exists. Low self-esteem has to constantly prove it's confident, through outfits, captions, or comments. They don't post because they're proud. They post because they're afraid you'll forget they exist. And when they feel ignored, they start chasing attention like it's oxygen. Because validation for them isn't luxury, it's survival. They can't sit still in silence, because silence forces self-reflection. So they keep the noise loud. Parties, drama, distractions, anything that keeps them from hearing that quiet voice that says, "You're not enough." And that's where clout culture creeps in. They stop creating from truth and start performing for attention. Their platforms turn into highlight reels of insecurity, drama over depth, gossip over growth. They confuse being seen with being respected, not realizing attention without intention is just noise. Every post becomes bait for validation, every caption a cry to belong to the cool crowd. But the loudest people online usually say the least, because when you're truly confident, you don't need a crowd to clap. Your piece is the applause. Clout fades, character doesn't. And the same followers they fight to impress will scroll right past them the moment the performance ends. If you've ever felt that urge to prove your worth, drop a thinking emoji in the comments. Let's see how many people relate. The comparison trap. The next hidden sign is comparison. People with low self-esteem don't just compare. They compete with people who aren't even playing the same game. They scroll through social media like it's a scoreboard, measuring their worth through someone else's highlight reel. They'll see your wins as their losses. Your success doesn't inspire them, it threatens them. Because deep down, they believe there's only room for one person to shine. That's why they gossip, throw shade, or downplay your accomplishments. They call it just joking, but really, it's projection. Every insult they throw at you is a confession about themselves. When you start loving yourself, they'll start acting distant, not because you've changed, but because your confidence exposes their insecurities. And instead of asking how to grow, they'll ask why you're acting different. Growth looks like arrogance to people who refuse to evolve. But here's the truth. There's nothing wrong with using others as a blueprint. There's nothing wrong with being inspired. We all need idols, mentors, and examples that show us what's possible. But the problem starts when people refuse to give those idols their props, when admiration turns into silent competition. They'll copy your moves but never credit your name. They'll downplay your greatness just to make themselves look next up. It's not confidence, it's insecurity in disguise. Real confidence celebrates influence. It says, "I learned from them, and now I'm building my own version." Because giving credit doesn't make you smaller, it makes you solid. And if you're secure in who you are, you can salute another person's success without feeling like it steals from yours. If that line hit, rewind it, or share this part with someone who needs to hear it. The people pleaser paradox. Third sign, they can't say no. They fear rejection so much that they say yes to everything. They carry everyone else's weight just to feel needed. They call it kindness, but it's really a form of control. Because if everyone likes them, nobody leaves them. And if nobody leaves them, they never have to face the wound that created their fear of abandonment in the first place. So, they become the fixer, the therapist, the one always checking on others but never checking in with themselves. They think love is earned through sacrifice, but all they're doing is teaching people that their time, energy, and peace are negotiable. You'll hear it in their phrases. I don't want to be a burden. I just want everyone to be happy. Translation, I don't know how to choose myself without feeling guilty. People-pleasing isn't humility. It's self-betrayal dressed as generosity. And the sad part is, people-pleasers rarely get the same love they give. They pour into empty cups, hoping one day someone will notice how tired they are. But the world doesn't reward overgivers. It takes advantage of them. Because when you train people to expect your sacrifice, they stop seeing it as kindness. They see it as your job. So even when they're drowning, they'll smile through the pain just to keep the peace. But peace built on pretending isn't peace. It's emotional debt. And the longer you keep paying with your time, your energy, and your sanity, the more you lose yourself. At some point, you learn to stop forcing people to understand your growth. Because everybody can't go. And when you finally accept that, when you stop trying to control who claps and who doesn't, you find peace. That's when you leave it in God's hands and trust that the right people will recognize you without you having to prove anything. If that sounds like you, comment no more guilt. We are setting boundaries this year. The performance of strength. Another hidden sign, the act of pretending they're unbothered. They'll say, I don't care more than anyone, and mean it less than everyone. Every whatever is a defense mechanism. They've built a personality around emotional numbness because caring feels dangerous. So they mock sincerity, avoid vulnerability, and laugh at the things that once broke them. But you can't heal from pain you refuse to feel. They'll use phrases like, I don't need nobody. I'm used to doing everything on my own. Sounds strong, right? But sometimes, independence is just loneliness in a costume. Low self-esteem hates asking for help because help feels like weakness. But in reality, it's just pride protecting a fragile ego. And when you show them real love, the kind that doesn't ask for performance, they'll push you away. Not because they don't want it, but because they don't think they deserve it. But even the strongest soldiers need a squad. The truth is, teamwork makes the dream work. It's important to be self-sufficient because self-sufficiency builds skill, discipline, and confidence in your position. But remember, there's no I in team. When you isolate yourself too long, you forget that strength was never meant to be a solo act. You can be the best at your role, but the mission still requires a unit. Because independence might win battles, but collaboration wins wars. And when you finally find people who match your effort and share your vision, that's when purpose turns into progress. The identity built on approval. Fifth sign, they mirror whoever they're around. They shapeshift to fit in, talk like whoever they admire, and hide part of themselves to avoid being disliked. They're not fake, they're just disconnected from who they truly are. When you don't know your own value, you borrow everyone else's. You try on personalities like clothes, hoping one finally fits. But every time they adjust to pleasing someone new, they drift further from their own reflection. They might even say, I'm just being chill. But chill is code for, I don't know where I stand, so I'll just blend in. That's why their confidence feels inconsistent. One day, they're unstoppable. The next, they disappear. Because when your identity depends on approval, rejection feels like death. And that's where swagger jacking becomes dangerous. Because when you keep borrowing everyone else's style, voice, and vision, you lose sight of your own. You start chasing personalities instead of purpose. You imitate confidence instead of cultivating it. And eventually, you forget what you even sound like. You have to learn who you are, what you like, and what you stand for. Because if you don't know where you come from, you'll never know where you're going. Swagger isn't something you steal, it's something you discover. It's built through identity, not imitation. And once you find that alignment, no trend, no crowd, and no approval can take it from you. If you've ever lost yourself trying to fit in, hit the like button right now, because we've all been there. The cycle of self-sabotage. Sixth sign. They destroy anything that makes them feel worthy. If love shows up, they question it. If opportunity knocks, they delay it. If peace finds them, they stir chaos just to feel familiar. That's the paradox of low self-esteem, comfort and dysfunction. They've normalized pain so much that happiness feels suspicious. So, they self-sabotage, miss deadlines, start fights, ghost people, or quit right before the finish line, all because success feels foreign. They'll tell themselves it's not the right time, but really, they're scared of proving they were capable all along. Because once you succeed, you lose the excuse. And people with low self-esteem are addicted to the comfort of excuses. But healing starts the moment you stop running from yourself. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to sign up for therapy and talk to someone about your confidence. Real strength is knowing when to stop pretending you're fine. Because sometimes, what's eating at your self-esteem isn't just mental, it's physical. Your diet, your sleep, and the substances you consume all play a role in how you see yourself. Junk food, alcohol, constant scrolling. They drain your energy, dull your focus, and chip away at your confidence one day at a time. You can't expect your mind to thrive in a body that's running on empty. So, protect your peace from every angle, mental, spiritual, and physical. Don't block your own blessing by clinging to habits that shrink you. Because once you choose growth over comfort, you realize the only person who ever stood in your way was you. The energy exchange. Seventh sign. Their energy drains yours. Being around them feels heavy, not because they're bad people, but because they unconsciously demand reassurance every second. They'll test your loyalty, your patience, your empathy, until you start feeling guilty for focusing on yourself. And when you finally pull back, they'll call you selfish. But self-care isn't selfish, it's survival. Low self-esteem can't survive in healthy environments. It needs chaos to validate its fears. So when peace enters the room, they either sabotage it or leave it. You'll notice how their conversations always orbit around doubt, never dreams. They talk about who hurt them, not who they're becoming. And if you're not careful, you'll start shrinking to make them comfortable. Protect your energy. You can empathize with someone's pain without inheriting their pattern. And this doesn't just apply to friends or relationships, it applies to bullies too. Because sometimes, the person causing pain is just passing down what they saw. Hurt people hurt people. They might have grown up around chaos, insults, or neglect, and now they repeat that same cycle because it's the only language they know. But just like victims need healing, so do the ones who cause harm. Therapy isn't just for the broken, it's for the ones brave enough to unlearn what broke them. They need to be shown new ways to live, new ways to love, and new ways to express pain without projecting it. Because when people finally learn peace, they stop trying to disturb yours. Share this with someone who keeps giving their energy to the wrong people. They might need the reminder. Healing and reclaiming worth. Healing starts with honesty, not affirmations, not pretending. Honesty. Admit where you shrink. Admit where you pretend. Admit where you perform strength instead of living it. Because you can't fix what you keep defending. You can't love yourself through lies. Real confidence isn't built in public. It's built in the quiet moments you refuse to run from anymore. It's choosing rest without guilt. It's saying no without apology. It's walking away without explanation. It's not needing the world to clap to know you're doing good. The loudest flex is peace of mind. And when you finally understand that, nobody can manipulate you through your insecurities again. From self-doubt to self-respect. Low self-esteem isn't a life sentence. It's a signal. A reminder that somewhere inside, you stopped seeing your own worth. But awareness is power. Once you recognize the signs, you stop being controlled by them. Because self-esteem isn't about thinking you're better than anyone. It's about knowing you don't need to compete. It's not arrogance, it's alignment. So rebuild your confidence brick by brick, not through applause, but through consistency. Show up for yourself the way you've shown up for everyone else. And the next time you look in the mirror, don't ask, "Am I enough?" Ask, "Who told me I wasn't?" because that's where the healing begins. If you found value in this video, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, because someone out there is fighting the same silent battle, and your share might be the message that saves their confidence.